Hello my friends, this is Amner Hunter, and in today's video I'm gonna be checking out 5 VST amplifiers for guitar that are emulations of Mesa Boogie dual rectifiers. The first one is from the company Plugin Alliance. This is the Brainworx Dual. It's a paid plugin. There is a free demo available. The next one is from one of the first free amp sim developers back in the day. This is from Lecto, Poulin. This is the Lecto. This one, it's a brand new release from the company ML Sound Lab. This is the Amped Dual. It's a paid plugin. There is a free demo available as well. The next one is from the company Nalex. This is the Pectifier and it's a free VST amp sim. And the last one is from the company Nembrini Audio. This is the Cali Dual. It's a paid plugin as well. Free demo available. In this video, I'm gonna show you how I set up the session to compare these plugins. Also, I want to show you a playthrough of the amps and guitars isolated. And finally, I'll be checking out these amp sims in a full mix with drums and bass. All of the applicable links related to this video are going to be down below in the description and first comment. And don't forget to check out the timestamps as well that I leave you down below. Thank you very much for being here and welcome. Before we dive into the content, my friends, I would like to invite you to my website, amnerhunter.com, where I have some free stuff here. I have some free PDF guides and ebooks for music producers and guitar players. Also, I have some tools, a huge collection of guitar impulses, my Cubase mixing template, among other utilities. And finally, don't forget to check out my blog, which I'm updating weekly with tons of free resources and content. So now let's get to the video. If you have seen my videos where I compare amp sims in the past, you are going to know how I set up the session. But if you're new to the channel, I'm gonna explain this. The way I do it is I record a riff, right? And I divide this riff in sections. I record always 2 separate guitar tracks and pan one guitar all the way to the left and the other one all the way to the right. This section of guitars I am sending to this guitar group where I have the first amplifier. Then the other section of the riff is in this couple of tracks, and then they are being sent to this guitar group where I have the second amplifier, so on and so forth till I get to the last amplifier. So these stereo groups or buses that I have here are being sent to this group track of guitars where all of the guitars are being routed to. And here I am using a cap simulator or impulse response loader where I have the impulse response that is being applied to all of the amp sims. So I have disabled the cap emulation of each amplifier that have this option. For instance, here on the Brainworx, I went here on the FX rack and I put here empty on the impulse response section. The Lecto doesn't come with a cap simulation. The Amp Dual has a cap simulation here, so I went ahead and bypass it right here. The Pectifier doesn't come with that option, and the Cali Dual, I went ahead and bypass this option here. I do this to have a more clear idea of how these amp heads sound with an universal cap or universal impulse response. The characters of the amplifiers are, I think, more well heard by applying this method. In this way, I think I have a more clear image or picture in my head of how these amplifiers sound. Another thing to mention here is that I put here on the stereo group tracks or buses the amplifiers that come with this option, but for instance, the Amped Dual doesn't come with a stereo option, so I had to put it here on the individual channels. Also, I'm gonna be checking out these amplifiers with an overdrive before the amp, right, to tighten the sound and also to tighten the low end. So I'll be checking out both sounds with and without the Dr. Drive plugin. Here on the guitar bus, after the cap section or impulse response, I have this equalizer. I'm just applying 2 filters. I'm cutting from 94, 95 Hertz and below, and I am also filtering from 10K and above just to remove a little bit of low end and a little bit of high end, just to make the guitars sit in the mix better with the drums and bass that I have here. All of these guitars and guitar bus is being routed to this master channel where I have a compressor just to glue the whole mix a little bit. I have a slow attack, a fast release, a ratio of 4 to 1. I'm just lowering the threshold till I get around 3 to 4 decibels of gain reduction of compression. And at the end of the mastering chain, I just have this limiter with a ceiling of -1 decibel and just lowering the threshold till I get around 2 to 3 decibels of gain reduction, just to increase the level of the final mix and final track that you're gonna be hearing at the end of this video. So now let's go ahead and check it out how these amplifiers sound by themselves and finally in the full mix. For the final conclusion, my friends, I think the Pectifier, which is free, it's an awesome amp sim. I mean, the Cali Dual, which is a paid plugin, sounds great, I think, also. And also the Brainworx Megadual sounds great. But since these are paid plugins, I think the Pectifier can be very up to these competitors. As for the Lecto, I think it has a very boomy low end, but I know that the real dual rectifiers have a very boomy low end. So I think that's part of the sound, a lot of low end rumble. Most of the guitar players that used these amplifiers for metal, they used always an overdrive before the amplifier or in front of the amplifier. These amp sims also have a very prominent low end. You can go ahead and fix that with an overdrive before the amp or in front of the amp, and also with a high pass filter. You're gonna be hearing much better results in the context of the full mix. The Megadual doesn't need an overdrive to be very heavy, and the Cali Dual also doesn't need an overdrive, but they sound more enhanced. The Pectifier doesn't need an overdrive to sound heavy and tight, but if you put an overdrive, it will sound great. I think the last place on this list is definitely the Amped Dual by ML Soundlab. Super boomy on the low end, more than the others. Also, it sounds like a fuzz pedal. It has that very fuzzy distortion, not very tight and full as the Pectifier, for instance, which is free, or the Cali Dual or Megadual. Also, something that I would love to have on the ML Soundlab amplifiers is the stereos, because you need to put one instance on the left, one instance on the right, and you can save some CPU power by having a stereo option. The Lecto has the stereo option, and also the Pectifier has the stereo option over here. Please let me know down below in the comments, my friends, what do you think about these plugins? Have you tried them before? Which one is your favorite? Please leave me your opinion down below. Before we go, my friends, I would like to invite you to my website, amnorhunter.com, where I have some free stuff here available at your disposal. I have some free PDF guides and ebooks for music producers and guitar players. I have also some tools, a huge collection of guitar impulses, some presets of some plugins that I use, my Cubase mixing template, among other utilities. And finally, don't forget to check out my blog, which I'm updating weekly with tons of free content. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you very soon on the next one. Alright? Take care.